So without any further ado, let me hand it over to Mr. Bashar, our first speaker for the day. Mr. Bashar Abdul Hadi is the founder, CTO of KUWAITNET. Mr. Bashar.
Thank you, Noor. Assalamu alaikum. Sabahkum Allah bikhair, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. This is our second webinar in the series of webinars, inshallah, that will be happening from time to time, covering, important technologies that help us during this, pandemic, and overall in securing and making sure, work are seamless when it comes to, let's say, working online or working from home. For KUWAITNET and Acronis partnership, we started with Acronis, several years ago, starting to touch base with, multiple backup vendors and security protection products. And we noticed that Acronis covers almost every aspect that we look for as KUWAITNET, as a customer, then to provide it as a service to our customers. And alhamdulillah, for our commitment from our team, we became a gold cloud partner, in addition of an authorized reseller for Acronis services here in Kuwait. And our team are focused and we're committed to serve you. We have 6 certified sales professionals when it comes to Acronis, headed by their manager, Mr. Verghese George, the division manager. And we have, Harayar Bobian, who's presenting today. He's the account manager for Acronis product. And we also have Joe Bijon, the project solution architect, who designs and prepare your solution when it comes to Acronis services. Furthermore, when it comes to technical side, we have more than 8 certified backup engineers, headed by their manager, Jobin Joseph, who's the head of IT and IS, as IT infrastructure. This is, if you're brief, we want to get diving with the details of the product, headed by our, colleague and friend, Mr. Mohammed Khalid from Acronis. He's the regional senior solution engineer for the Middle East at Acronis. So over to you, Khalid, so you can kick off and dive into the topic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bashar, and thank you for your introduction. So thank you everybody for joining. Let me just share my screen. So is it visible right now, my screen?
Yes.
Coming on the way. Yeah, that's great. So thank you everybody for joining. My name is Mohammed Khalid, and I am the senior solution engineer covering the Middle East region and all the Gulf countries. My role in the company is focused on the solution architecture and the pre-sales activities for all the customer solutions. So I'm working very close with KUWAITNET team, technical team, pre-sales team, sales team as well, along with my sales team in the region, to just make sure that we are giving all of you the proper solution that fits your needs and fits your environment. So as you can see today, we will talk about 2 products, which is Cyber Backup and Cyber Protect Cloud. So these solutions are mainly located on the cloud. I'm just having here my agenda for today. So first we will have a quick brief about Acronis, and we will talk about Acronis Cyber Backup Cloud. Then we will talk about Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud, and we will have a demo at the end and answer all your inquiries or your clarifications. So feel free during the entire session at any time. Once you need to ask something, just drop it on the chat box. And by end of the session, I will revise all your inquiries and reply it. And as Mrs. No mentioned, if something is not answered, we will reply to you over email. So first of all, Acronis is cyber protection vendor. So mainly for cyber protection, we are focused on backup solutions. So to make sure that we are protecting your data all the time, your machines. And we have dual headquarters. As you can see, you will be able to see these 2 flags in all our slides, because we have one headquarter located in Singapore. This is our first headquarter. And there is another corporate headquarter located in Switzerland. We are achieving on the cloud very much growth. We have like 100% growth happened since last year, and we are expecting more than 40% during this year. You can see that we have around the world 50K partners and like 500K business users and or business customers, and we have like 5.5 million pro customers. This is our coverage and the presence worldwide. So we have like 1,500 employees covered or located in 33 locations. The main location for Middle East, we are located here in Dubai. I'm talking to you from Emirates, Dubai. And we are covering 150 countries. And our product is working in multi-language, more than 40 plus. So let's talk about the first product today that is mainly for backup. So the product is called Acronis Cyber Backup Cloud. We will know how, while we are working on the presentation, we will know why the name of cyber. So you will be understanding all of this. So first of all, I need to let you know how our solution, how many tiers we have in the solution, what is the architecture for our solution. So we have 3 layers, or we can say 3 tiers in the solution. The first one is agent, which is simply installed at your end, installed on your workstation, your PC, your laptop, your server, even your cloud VMs, or even your mobile, if you will back up mobiles. Then once you install the agent, this agent should be managed by certain management layer. So we need a console to be able to log into that console, deploy the agent, manage this machine, create the backup plans, make all the management requirements over there. So that's why we have the management layer. And this management layer can be in 2 flavors. If you have it on-prem, you can have it on-prem, and you can have it on cloud. Third layer is mainly the storage. So you take backup right now, and we have created the protection plan on the management console, deploy it to the agent. The agent now is aware about everything. Now take backup, send it to the storage. So this storage can be local storage, can be shared storage or network storage, can be cloud storage. It can be tape or even storage node or appliance. So we have also our hardware solution, which is Acronis Cyber Infrastructure. This is like hybrid convergent solution, all in one. You will have the storage, you will have the management layer, which is both of these layers will be in the same box, all in one solution. Then let's see what we are supporting over here. So in this slide, you will be able to see all what we are supporting. So we can say the platforms that we are supporting in your data center are listed over here. So from this one, you can see that we have wide range of platforms are supported between the cloud solutions like Azure, like AWS, like cloud apps, Office 365, G Suite, websites backup. We have another portfolio which is located on-prem. So we can back up your Windows servers, your Windows PCs, your Linux machines. So you can see also some applications and database between Exchange to SQL, SharePoint, Active Directory. So all of these are supported by our solution. You can back up your phone between Mac or Mac machine as a workstation, between your iPhone or iPad as an Apple products, and also any Android OS, either tablet or mobile. Coming to the virtualization layer, we are supporting the well-known virtualization platforms like Hyper-V and VMware. Adding to this also the Oracle VM and the Red Hat virtualization, KVM, Citrix, Virtuoso, and the Nutanix added recently. So talking to the database, we added also the support for Oracle database and SAP HANA databases. So you can see that almost all the products that you may have it in your data center, we are supporting to back up this. Not only to back up this, but we are adding a lot of features along with backup. So if we come to this slide, you will be able to see over here all the supported features. So from here, you can see all the supported platforms that I listed right now. We can also back up, as I mentioned, to our Acronis cyber infrastructure as a hardware. So if you like to send your backups to your data center, you can have this appliance. If you don't have storage ready, you can send the backups to the CFS, DFS, NFS, depending on what you have as a storage locally. If you have even cloud storage like Azure storage, Amazon storage, Alibaba Cloud, IBM Cloud, we are supporting to back up to all of this. So this means that you will be able to back up whatever platform you have, as well as to whatever storage you have. Some customers, they have somehow agreement with the government to have some space on Azure cloud. So you can get use of this by backing up. So your management layer will be in KUWAITNET portal, which is located in Acronis data center, and you will be sending your backups to Azure or AWS, for example. Let's talk about some features over here. I will just talk about unique features because many features are well known for any backup solution, like granular recovery, like parameter recovery, full image or file level recovery. This is normal. We know this for any other product, but I'm talking today, I need to focus today about the unique features that you will have it with Acronis. So one of these features is called Acronis Universal Restore. And this feature is mainly for restoring your image to different hardware, or we can say to dissimilar hardware. So think about you have a backup today from Dell server, and this server got failed or somehow damaged. You need to replace it immediately. So you can simply get another server, which is maybe HP server or IBM server. When you restore the same image, you will face problems during boot. So the image will not boot correctly because the hardware layer cannot find the required drivers on top of this operating system. So based on that one, the boot will stuck. So Acronis Universal Restore is helping you to make sure when you boot from Acronis Media, you will allow to deploy the hardware drivers, which is IPM, Dell, HP, depending on the new hardware. And after that, deploy the image that you backed up. So at this time, you will find the system coming up and find the required drivers, and everything will be coming up smoothly without any hassle during the boot. Adding to this also another feature called Instant Restore. Because of the value that we are able to restore our image to any platform, we can make your recovery very fast by restoring to your virtual environment. So you have a physical machine, this machine is dead, you need to restore it to your virtual environment as a VM. You can make this within 2 minutes. So the machine will be up and running and you will be surviving the production need. And after that, you can decide if you will go again virtual or physical as you like. We have also Acronis VM Flashback, which is helping you to restore only the changed blocks in VMware. So if you are restoring virtual machine on VMware, this value will make your restore or recovery is very fast. Because of the value with instant restore along with universal restore, we are able to say that we can support any-to-any migration. So as you can see right now, I took backup from Dell, restored it to HP. I took backup from physical machine, restored it to a virtual machine. We can do the same if we are going to virtual, migrating from Hyper-V to VMware, migrating from VMware to Hyper-V or any other virtualization. So P2V, V2V, we can do also V to cloud, which is virtual to cloud. So we can take your backup, restore it to Amazon, restore it to AWS, or even Azure. So we can do even cloud to cloud. So because of our solution is able to take backup from AWS machines or Azure machines, we can even restore to any other platform. So this is what it means end to end. So another value also that our solution is supported by HTML. So the management solution is very simple. The management console is accessible from anywhere. You can just access the console, and you will find all the components that you need over there. There is no need to deploy many things in your site, and this is the value with our partnership with KUWAITNET team, that the team is very solid, having the good experience to deploy the solution, create your tenant, make it up and running in the back end in our data centers, and just what you will need to do, you will just need to deploy the agent. And the professional service team from their end will make it happen end to end for you to just make sure that your data will be backed up safely as well. One of the key features we have also is Acronis Active Protection. So that's why we start talking about cyber right now, because Acronis Active Protection is mainly active protection from ransomware attacks. So if you have an attack in your data center simply by executing a file which contains the infection of the ransomware, and suddenly you will find the entire machine will be encrypted. By end of the day, if you have another machines in the same network and this infection has a worm or something, so it will destroy the entire environment. So by end of the day, if you have 100 workstations in the business building, the entire machines are encrypted, and you need to start restoring from the backup what you did as a backup to restore the encrypted data or encrypted machines. With Acronis, this is the traditional way for any other vendor or any other solution. However, with Acronis, you don't need to do all of that. The attack is happening. Our agent detected that this is an attack because the agent is based on machine learning and artificial intelligence. Kill the process of the attack, notify the admin on the management console that take care, we have an attack over here, and immediately restore the encrypted files. I will show you during the demo real case while I'm infecting my machine with ransomware attack, and you will see how it will behave real time and very active at this protection. We have another two services as well on the cloud. Notary, it is not the main topic for today, but just to highlight it, that Acronis Notary, which is mainly required for authenticity of your files and notarization on the cloud. So if you have a file, you need to make sure this file will not be changed. This file will be always authentic. You can use our service for that. And we have eSign, which is Acronis Signature, which is mainly e-signature or e-signing solution. Definitely to make sure of the data protection, we have the encryption for your backups, so nobody can access your backups. If this backup is encrypted, nobody from Acronis can recover this password for you. If you forgot your password, nobody can recover it. Nobody from Acronis has access to the data if it is encrypted. Nobody from KUWAITNET has access to the data if it is encrypted. You only have the single access. By providing the password, you will be able to retrieve that data inside the file. This is to make sure that everything is protected for your requirements. The good value also that our solution is providing free customer trials. So simply after this session, once you see this is fitting your environment, you can simply request from KUWAITNET team, the guys, I need a trial tenant to have an access to the environment and test this in my data center, in my laptops, desktops in the company, so I can see how this behave. And you have 30 days for free. So during these 30 days, if you upload it to the cloud, tons of terabyte of data, totally free. By end of the day, if you like to continue, KUWAITNET team will just switch to production. Very simple. You don't need to create something again. You don't need to deploy something again. Everything is already done. You did it already. So you can just switch from trial to production, and that's it. That's simple. So let's see how this looks like. You can see from the customer workload, we are able to back up servers, virtual machines, workstation, cloud machines, cloud apps, or even local apps, and mobile and websites. These backups can be sent to local storage if you like to back up to your local storage inside the data center, or you can back up to the Acronis Cyber Infrastructure, which is our appliance. Now you like to make offsite backup, which is our main well-known rule which is called 3-2-1. So 3 means that you should have 3 copies of data. 2 of these data should be located in 2 different media. One of these backups should be outside, or we can say offsite on the cloud. So when you have a backup, you will have the live data, first copy backup, second copy backup, and this should be located in 2 different media. So your backup, your production is located on production storage. Your backup should be located on different storage. Don't put everything in one basket. And the number one is one backup should be offsite, meaning that if you have a disaster to the building, if you have an issue happen to the entire site, you still have copy of your data safe outside on the cloud. So once you have all of this, you are now fulfilling all the best practice for backup, getting use of all the features we talk about. You will be able to back up to the cloud, backup locally, restore from local, restore from cloud. You can use it for multi-retention as well. Remember that maybe you like to have 3 months backup located on-prem inside your data center. You like to have additional 6 months located on the cloud. So you can customize it as you like. So, and this is the main one talking about the ransomware, which is AI and machine learning. So just to tell you over here how this works as a AI concept, that our agent is fully working offline, meaning that we don't need to connect to internet for updates. We don't need to connect to internet for signatures to be modified or to be updated like any other traditional antivirus. Everything is based on machine learning. So the agent will understand once you install it, it will capture the entire machine status to capture the CPU usage, the memory usage, the processes, everything will be understood by this agent to just understand or to capture once we have a new process come to the picture to start encrypting. So at this time, immediately, you will be able to have the agent aware, fully aware about your machine, about your machine behavior. For any foreign process coming to the picture, the agent will detect and start executing the protection or active protection, killing the process, send the notification to the admin, and restore your encrypted files. And we will see this in the demo. So this is simply how this looks like from the cyber backup. And as I mentioned, we have cyber backup. You can see right now it is focused on 2 things. Number 1, backup. Number 2, active protection from ransomware. So that's why we have the name of cyber backup. Okay. So now we will talk about the second product. I will just run through the slide deck. And by end of this, we will jump to the demo to see everything live, how it looks like. So why we decided to make Cyber Protect? So it is not only backup, it is not only ransomware right now. Nowadays, as you can see, we have a lot of attacks happening to the endpoints. We have problems happening because we don't do batching as a proper way. So if you have the batch coming from the vendor, Microsoft, Linux, whatever, you should apply this batch to make sure your machine is secured. So we found it that around average time of batching is like 102 days. We can see that there's many attacks missed by antivirus. So your antivirus didn't detect it because there is no signature. Maybe this is new virus happened and you didn't update, so this is a problem also. Data is growing day over day, and because of that, data is growing more, the problems will be more. So you need to control your data to make sure you are really protecting this huge amount of data which is growing over days. As we know, we have in our laptops and workstations only single disk. We are not worried from the disks on the servers because we have RAID 1, RAID 5, RAID 6. So we have the data protection layer on the storage level. That's why we are not worried. But think about your laptop. It is only single disk. If this disk is failed, your data gone. So because of that, we can see that 50% of hard drives will die after 5 years or within 5 years. So you need also to care about that. You need to be very careful from ransomware. And ransomware is not only traditional ransomware like before, like file, double click on it, it will execute, will be executed, destroy your machine by encrypting your files. It is not only that, but now they are injecting worms inside the ransomware to make it propagated or spread it over the network. Like a couple of weeks back, they invented a new ransomware which is propagated over USB. Just you plug the USB, immediately it will propagate inside your machine, propagating through the network as well. So it is a matter only to have a machine up and running and plug the USB. That's it. So it is now going very crazy, and we need to care about that. And also care about 0 days attack. So as you can see, day by day, they are inventing bad worms and bad ransomware and bad malware, and every time is going very smart and going very aggressive. So that's why we are worried from the 0 day attacks, because if you have an application or software which is waiting for signature to be updated, you should be worried, because if this is not updated in a proper time, maybe you will be one of the victims of this 0 day attack. So because of that, we found all of these challenges not impacting your laptop or desktop, but it is coming as a threat to our remote offices, coming as an attack for our cloud servers, hosted servers, our desktops and mobiles as well. So from here, we start to think in a different way, that it is not only enough to protect your data by backup and protect your machine from ransomware. We have a lot of threads we should consider as well before saying that we are really applying cyber protection solution in your environment. That's why we came to this level of protection. We have active protection, we know about it from the previous product. It is there that we have active protection from ransomware, but we are thinking right now as a proactive protection. So you are very fine, you don't have any problem, but we still need to care about your data proactively. So we added one of the solutions, one of the new features in this product, vulnerability assessment. So vulnerability assessment will be running on your machine to just capture all the status of your resources, of your programs, and install the applications to make sure these applications are up to date. We are able to do this on Windows, on Linux, or even third party. So every application you are installing, we are capturing this to tell you if this is updated or not. We added also for you malware protection for a removal tool. So when we take the backup to our cloud, we will run scanning on this backup on the cloud, away from your machine, away from your CPU and memory, fully offline on the cloud, or we can say offline from your machine, away from your machine on the cloud, to scan it, make sure that it is very clean. And we notify you if it is not clean. I will show this to you in the coming slide. So once we have vulnerability assessment running, we find some gaps, we will apply patch management. So we added patch management as well. To make sure that the active protection is continuously happening, we added continuous data protection. So continuously, we are able to back up your data once it is changed. So once the changes happened, immediately data will be backed up based on a folder you will define, based on a program. Once any file modified by this program, the backup will be initiated. So we are able also to have, this is from the previous edition, and we continue to have this in a smart way and enhanced way to protect our backup files. So once we have the backup files cannot be encrypted, because we are locking these files to be changed only by Acronis process. That's why the data backups also will be protected. What about reactive? Think about, after all of this, somehow your machine got infected, or somehow your machine got data loss. You still have the ability to restore from backup, which is very encrypted, nobody can touch it. You're still able to use instant restore by very simply put the machine on the hypervisor that you have, VMware or Hyper-V, make it up and running. You have no problem. Within 2-3 minutes, the machine will be up. or you can use our disaster recovery service. So in this disaster recovery service, we can take your backup on the cloud, make it as a recovery server for you up and running, connected to your data center via VPN, so you don't feel any trouble. So the machine killed or dead on-prem, you can simply fill over to this service on the cloud, so it will be directly connected. The user in the office is not aware that he is sending his traffic from his laptop directly inside data center via VPN to Acronis data center. So that's why we have all the phases, as you can see, to make sure that we are proactively and actively and reactively protecting your data end to end. How we did this? We did this by adding all of these components. We have here eight pillars. In these 8 pillars, we will have added the anti-malware along with anti-ransomware. We added also anti-malware. We added also antivirus. We added also the scanning, backup scanning on the cloud and batch management. We added again the forensic backup, which is really very focused for the military services. So if any backups need to be focused, or we need to make sure that this backup is capturing the entire machine, you need to make it with forensic backup. I will show you this. So we have CDP, we have also the data protection map, which is focused on your files. So we will tell you for every file if it is encrypted or not. So you can see from all of these services that we are achieving our well-known slogan that SABAS. So safety, accessibility, privacy, authenticity, and security. So with this one, you can see that your data will be safe, available on the cloud, available on-prem, secured by password, locked from any attacks. Accessible means that our cloud management console is reachable from anywhere. So you can reach it from your mobile, from your laptop, desktop. You can simply control your tenant in a simple way. The privacy over there, because we have multi-tenant solution, every tenant is controlled by number of users, number of admins, number of end user, or read-only admin we added recently. So by all of this, you can have the privacy that you need. Authenticity is available by notary service, as I mentioned, and the security coming from all the security or cybersecurity features we added recently, like anti-malware, antivirus, anti-ransomware, backup scanning, batch management, vulnerability assessment. So you can see how this is really fulfilling all the needs for any business. Let's come now to see how this is coming to your protection plan. So as you remember, for any traditional backup solution, it was called backup plan. So backup plan contains the traditional way of backup, like what to backup, what is the machine, should I backup folder or machine, backup entire machine, when to backup, where to backup, how many long to keep, something like this. Our protection plan is now not backup plan. It is called protection plan, because in one protection plan, you will have the backup, you will have the anti-malware, you will have the antivirus, URL filtering added as well, patch management, vulnerability assessment, data protection map. So you can see that with one product, one license, or one subscription with KUWAITNET, and one backend, which is the engine of Acronis in the backend, with management console, single management console, you will receive the access from KUWAITNET. And one service provider, you are not going to multi-service provider asking that from this one I have my patch management, from this provider I have my vulnerability assessment, from this provider I have my antivirus solution. It is not like this. It is only KUWAITNET. So with KUWAITNET in the back end, you have all the services. The whole team are enabled and expert on the product. They are helping you for all these layers. And one support line, the first support line is KUWAITNET. Once you finish with them or you need any further assistance, they can open case directly with Acronis. We have the first level 1, we have the next level 2, where we have the highly expert over there, up to the engineering team. So you can see that it is very simple and very solid as well. So over here, I will just run right now through the features quickly before we can go to the demo. So over here, you can see that We have the continuous data protection, which is here. The data protection is enabled, and you can define which applications should be focused. If it changes any file, it will be modified or will be backed up. Which files and folders should be focused. In any changes in this file or folder, it will be backed up. And you can see over here that CDP will be announced, or will be highlighted here, that this backup is not coming from schedule. As you can see, this is happening 9 a.m., 9 a.m., 9 a.m. But this backup is happening based on CDP triggered. So another feature, as I mentioned, which is backup scanning. We are scanning your backup on the cloud from any malware. You just need to create scanning plan, define what is the storage you will backup, which is currently cloud storage. You will select the backup machine that you need to focus. It is back scanning for malware. If there is a password on this backup, you will define the password over here for this plan to be able to open the file and start scanning. And once you complete this, it will happen one per day. So for any malware detected, you will find something like this. Not only just to find malware, now this is good option, Mr. Vendor. You told me that I have malware inside my backup, but what should I do right now? That's why we created for you Safe Recovery. So the Safe Recovery is going to help you while you are restoring the machine to delete these infected files. And how you can identify this is infected, when you come to the restore points, you will find this kind of bug. So it will tell you that we have here infection, and you can know the location of it. So you can simply go and delete it from your machine, or you can simply use recovery, and while recovery, click on Safe Recovery. So this will simply clean your machine from your image from any malware before restoring this to your original machine. Adding to these features that we have, we dedicated 3 centers, operation centers. We name it CBOC, which is Cyber Protection Operation Centers. In these centers, we have 3 locations worldwide, one in US, one in Switzerland, one in Singapore. And these 3 locations are mainly focused on cybersecurity. That's it. So our colleagues on these places are sitting day and night, looking to the threads over the world, understanding any new attacks happening, looking to the vulnerabilities discovered in the systems, discussing with security experts to know how to remediate the problems and make it healed and recovered quickly. Definitely fulfilling all the worldwide compliance like GDPR in Europe. So with all of this, the value from this team that they are keeping close eye to make sure that new attacks will not come to your data center. But how you will find this, how you can see this in your console. That's why we added something called threat feed. So while you are opening your console, you will be able to see on the left side, I will show this in the demo, threat feed. And threat feed is going to list all the vulnerabilities or all the threats that we are expecting for you. So you can see here that we have the threat that you can see, where is it? This is the 500K hacked Zoom accounts happened in April. If you remember, it was announced that Zoom were attacked by some hackers, and that's why Zoom immediately updated the package of their software and they immediately released an update. So our customers got notified about this attack once it happened, simply on their console. Not only telling that we have an attack, but also giving you access to read more about this attack, to understand it, to make sure you as an end customer engineer sitting in the data center, sitting in your office, aware about attack is happening in US, happening in the Far East or Far West, to just make sure you are being protected from that. Once we give you a full picture about it, you can now remediate this problem. So giving you recommendations that we can see that this can be protected by take back of your machine. So that's why once you click start remediation, a smart protection plan will be created for you. You don't need to create a plan to say, configure this backup, backup this machine, backup this folder. Not like that. It is a smart protection plan, fully happening real time. Once you click enable protection on it or start remediation. So it will create the protection based on the threat. So if you have, for example, the threat of ransomware discovered, so we will tell you enable ransomware protection. If this is because of new batch released and you should apply it because it has certain security fixes, you will be finding that it is allowing you or recommending you to enable a vulnerability assessment and patch management. So it is not just a simple recommended action, but it is based on the threat that you got it. Based on that, we are recommending you which certain value or which certain feature you should allow it. So with the vulnerability assessment, discovered new batches, the batch management will get use of these patches or the downloaded CVEs or getting the new KBs from the vendor, applying this to your system. But you know what will happen with Microsoft. Sometimes we have our laptops up and running perfectly. Once we deploy the patch, the machine will crash. The blue screen start coming. We know these kind of situations. Sometimes it happen. So we are considering that, and we don't need to just push the update in your machine, and after updating the machine, it will be crashed. That's why we created for you fail-safe patching. So fail-safe patching is going to take backup from your machine before applying the batch. And this is the value over here, that batch management is triggering a signal to the backup service saying that, hey, Mr. Backup, I have recommendations to batch this machine, but I need you to back up the machine first before executing the batching. And this is the value of the product, as you can see. It is not just bringing 10 of services, put it in together without any integration. And that's why you can see how our R&D team and development and engineering team, they did such kind of solid solution. Every service is integrated with other. We are using the patch management to integrate with the vulnerability assessment, understand what is missing to update. Patch management is integrated with the backup to trigger the backup, take backup before I'm patching the machine. Malware scanning is integrated on the cloud with your machine to discover if you have any malware inside. So you can see the whole solution is really homogeneous, working hand by hand for all the services. The good value also we added for military service mainly is forensic backup. So forensic backup is not like traditional backup. So usually when you take a backup from your machine, you will backup number one, the disks, files, folders, the entire machine. But at the end, it is files and folders, right? Maybe it will be system state. But what is happening in the memory, you didn't capture. What is running processes, you didn't capture. So if we have an attack is happening, which is very smart attack, executing a service, running this service on the RAM, you don't know anything about it. And that's why we added forensic backup. Forensic backup is going to capture the entire disk. Unallocated spaces even will be captured. Capturing also the memory dump. So whatever in the memory, we will dump it to the disk and capture that. And also capture snapshot of the running processes. So with these all components, you now have the full upper hand on the machine. You have the files, the folders, the disk state, the processes state, the memory contents, everything you have it in hand, and you can start your forensic investigation. So this is the value when you have forensic backup. Currently, we are updating this service, so maybe I cannot show this to you today in the demo, but should be end of tomorrow, this service will be coming up again, and you can see while you are testing on your trial tenant. One service also about data protection map, which is mainly for the files. So this will look into your files to see how many files you have. You have 100 files, for example. These 100 files will be protected. Yes, it is protected. So we are capturing all the status, how many exe, how many PDF, how many PPT, how many doc files. All of these doc files are captured, understanding the level of it, understanding the number of it, and they're giving you clear brief in this dashboard if you are really protected or not. If all your files are protected, something like this. If your files are not all protected, maybe your admin configured to exclude ISO files. He is trying to reduce the capacity of the backup, so decided not to backup any .iso, for example. So it will be notifying you over here that we have some files are not protected, and you can say protect all. It will be automatically updating your backup plan as well. So you can see this is simply the features. We have also something related to the malware, or we can say any quarantine features or current quarantine malware. We capture the file as a quarantine, but you know that this file is clean. I'm 100% that this file is clean. So you can simply whitelist that one. We are not only leaving you alone to make this whitelisted, while maybe somehow by any certain probability it will be infected. So we are integrating in the back end with VirusTotal. VirusTotal is a very huge platform where we have between 70 to 80 engines. Acronis is one of them, by the way. These engines are going to scan your software or your file. Once you upload it by the hash code of it, we will scan it to make sure this file is clean. I will show this to you in the demo, how it works. So if you say that this is my file, this is my program, I'm sure of it, it is not infected. So you can double check by VirusTotal integration. If you remember, when I talk about the single disk of your laptop and desktops, we added for you drive health monitoring. So we are keeping close eye on the drive to make sure your hard disk is always clean, is always healthy. If your disk is having any probability to fail, we will highlight something like this. So by this one, this is fully clean. It has only 9%, but this one is very near to fail. So you can simply increase the backup plan. Instead of daily backup, make it every 12 hours, make it every 1 hour. You can whatever you need to do, because you know that this disk is very soon will fail. So you can simply increase the backup until you bring a new disk. So if your end user has a failure to his disk, you can say, Mr. User, don't worry. I have the last 30 minutes of your data or last 1 hour of your data. You didn't lose much, and you will just put a new disk and restore his machine. Because of COVID-19, we found a lot of companies sit at home. A lot of business got terminated because of the pandemic. Nobody is able to work in office. Some companies, they don't have the leverage or they don't have the luxury life of VPN solutions, remote connectivity, cloud solutions on files and accessing their shared folders. Think about a company, they have fixed workstations, they have no laptops, they have no portability at all. All of these users sitting in the office during the working day, accessing their shared folder on the file server located on the company as well. They don't have fancy firewall, they don't have fancy VPN appliance. Once the pandemic happened, they sit at home. So because of that, we start thinking about this kind of business must be survived in such a kind of situation. And that's why we added remote desktop. Remote desktop will allow you, using a link, sitting at home, to access your machine in your office, having access to your shared folder, having access to your email, your internet access, your intranet access. Everything is reachable for you from home. And not only from traditional RDP client, but even from HTML. So you can simply, if you like to watch progress in your machine from your tablet, you can log into the HTML, just have a quick look what is happening on my machine right now without any third party, without any team viewer, additional license, additional payment, without any disk, any third party or open source tools, in which is maybe a threat to your environment or maybe backdoor for your environment. Everything is happening over SSL, by the way, 443. So you can see that with a simple agent installed inside your machine, it is not that really simple. It is doing a lot for you. It has a lot of functions, happening because of that. Think about now, we have a user has his laptop, he got at home, and this laptop got lost or somehow unable to find it. That's why we added remote wipe. Remote wipe is a function available for Windows 10 today. So for any machine has a Windows 10 installed, this machines, once it is online, you can just click on wipe data. The wipe data will ask you what is the domain admin of this machine. You will just put the domain admin or credentials, which has administrative level, and very simple, it will restart your machine, initiating factory reset to fully destroy the machine and reformat it, installing Windows from scratch. So this is one of the values also. And we added this for Windows 10 because, you know, your server will not be lost, right? Your server is located in the data center, so you don't need to wipe it in one day. But we are thinking and focused about the devices that has the portability features, that you are taking this outside the company and it contains company data. So that's why we have it for Windows 10 till today. As we know that everybody of us is using either Microsoft Teams, Cisco WebEx, Zoom, so Slack. So all of these applications are very common today. Many people don't know about it. Many people don't know how to use it. They start learning how to use it because it is surviving day-to-day meetings, day-to-day business needs. And that's why we focused on that one by applying protection to all of these tools as well. So as you remember what happened in April with the Zoom, when they got attacked, the process, and they injected somehow threat inside it or attack inside it, and they will be able to capture the user's username and password and sold it in dark web. We added this kind of protection to protect also your remote conferencing tools. So something like this, when you access this from your system, you will be able to see that Zoom is protected, Teams is protected, Cisco is protected. I'm installing this on my machine. So when you click learn more, it will tell you that we are pushing updates. So immediately Zoom, once they know that we have a problem, immediately they push the updates inside the machine, inside the Zoom. And that's why it was protected. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. So once we added this protection plan, by default, by the way, you don't need to create anything. There is no tab called apply protection to Zoom, apply protection to WebEx, nothing. Just to put the protection plan, and once you run the new software, first time it will tell you protection is applied. So not only protecting by updates, protecting also the process, protecting also the hosts file. Some hackers will come to modify your hosts file, for example, if you are using Zoom. So you are using or connecting to zoom.us, for example. So the hacker will change the hosts file to just make zoom.us as a different IP, map it to different IP. So when you are logging into zoom.us, you will find a phishing site giving you username and password to access something which is not really Zoom. And by this one, they're able to hack your username and password. We have also considered these phishing sites in our URL filtering. I will show this to you in the demo, how the URL filtering is really protecting you from threats as well. So let's see now the product editions before going to the demo. So just for you to know, because when you have an environment, you need to tell all your environment and the components to KUWAITNET team so they can decide to which edition you should select. So basically, before last May, we were having version 8. Today we have version 9. In version 8, we have Cyber Backup Cloud, the one we talk about, first one. And it was mainly standard advanced disaster recovery. So if you like to have standard, which is if you have like 1 to 5 machines, go with the standard. It does not have detailed reporting. It does not have fancy features. If you like instant restore, if you like reporting, if you like notarization, you should go to advanced. where also you will have SQL backup, Oracle database backup, sorry, and you will have SAP HANA. Definitely disaster recovery for disaster recovery. So you will have the advanced backup features along with disaster recovery. So the same edition exactly moved to version 9, but we added another layer, which is called cyber protection. So if you need backup and anti-ransomware only, you will go with cyber backup, as I explained in the first product. If you need backup along with anti-ransomware, anti-malware, antivirus, vulnerability assessment, patch management, URL filtering, remote wipe, remote desktop, all of this, remote conferencing tool protection, you should have Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud. Again, standard advanced disaster recovery based on the workload. If you have SQL cluster, Exchange cluster, it should become under advanced. Less than 5 machines go to standard disaster recovery for disaster recovery. And we didn't change any on our Files and the Notary Cloud. So just for you to know, Files Cloud is our product where you can host your files on the cloud. Something like Dropbox and OneDrive with a lot of business restriction, with a lot of policies can be configured to make sure no single file will be sent outside the organization. So it has also prevention from any data leak. So, and the Notary, we talk about Notary. Here is simple comparison about the features. So you can see that with, with the Cyber Protect Cloud, mainly we have the standard advanced disaster recovery, where you have in Cyber Backup all the features. If you will go to these all features, again, you will find it in standard advanced disaster recovery, Cyber Protect Cloud. What is the differentiation between standard and advanced? As I mentioned, the group management, the shared backup plan, SAP HANA, Oracle database. So all of this can be only in advanced. And the disaster recovery if you like to create your recovery machine on the cloud. So that's fine. I hope it was not that long. So let me show you how the console looks like, which is will be more interesting to show you what we talk about right now, to how it looks like on the cloud. So this is our website if you like to discover more about the products. But let's come to the single access or single console that everybody will use it. Definitely you will use the tenant from KUWAITNET, but now I'm logging into my tenant as a cyber backup solution. So over here you can see all my services, management portal, because I'm the admin of this customer tenant. I can see over here my usage, how many gigabyte backed up to the cloud, how many data sources, or we can say how many workstations backup, server backup, VM backup. So you can see all the products that we are supporting, how many instances you did. If you take backup locally, we are able to capture this as well. So this is also the disaster recovery. So from here, you can have full picture about your environment. Then you can come to units, create different units. Maybe you like to make sales unit, technical unit. In each one, you can create multi-users. You can create for every unit one admin if you have a huge environment. You can create multiple users, and with users, you can create an admin, you can create a read-only admin, so you can define all of this. We just updated, we just released an update last week, and this is also one of the values. If when you go to cloud, you don't need to bother yourself by anything. Just you will update the agent without any without any reboot, without any hassle. Just update the agent and that's it. In our backend, we are pushing these updates to our data centers, and you will have new services coming day by day. So one of the service that we don't have read-only admin, we made it because we find a lot of requirements that we need read-only admin to be there, to give it to our audit team, to give it to our managed service provider team. If we have managed service also, maybe KUWAITNET will be managing your tenant because you don't have your team, you don't have your technical team or IT team. KuwaitNet is giving you also managed service, and they can give you read-only admin to just have a look to your tenant. They have the full right to control it, to manage it, because it is managed service provider contract. However, you still, as an end customer, can have full access to read it, everything, and to make sure you what is happening in your tenant if you like to have a look. Definitely, you can generate reports about usage. Audit log is telling you every change in your tenant between services, between logged in, sign out, even service sign in or sign out, because we can create user as a service. So here also you can add more backup locations. If you like to backup to a certain location or our appliance, you can control from where to log in. So if you need to add more security to your solution, you can make login in only from the company. So the console, I agree, it is on the internet, but you can limit that this console will be reachable only from my IP office or my IP inside the office. Definitely allow two-factor authentication or disallow. If you need KuwaitNet to manage your tenant as a service provider, you should give them access by support access. If you have your own tenant, you don't need any service provider engineer to access your tenant, you just disable this. And if here you can see the security and the privacy you are talking about. We agree that yes, Acronis is hosting your data, but we cannot read it if you apply password on it. We have the service provider has managing here its tenant, but he cannot access it if you disallow him to access. And here is the privacy, here is the security of the solution. So let's see now that I showed you how the management portal looks like. Let's go to see the service itself. So from here, when I click manage service, we will be able to see all the contents of the management console. So first of all, you will see the dashboard. The dashboard, as you can see, we have many graphs, many tables, many pie chart, list chart. We will see this in the other one. So you can just add the widget you like, and you can enlarge this from here to make it in big screen or something to see if the status is okay for last backup or not. We have alerts where you can see all the alerts. If any attack, ransomware, or any detected malware, it will be reported over here. You can see the activities as well. In these activities, what is happening for this backup initiated, disaster recovery run, restore is happening, whatever. You can see reporting as well. If you are advanced, you will be able to see this tab. If you selected standard, you cannot see reports, you cannot generate reports because, as I mentioned, 1 to 5 machines go with the standard. If you have more, I recommend you to go with advanced. You will have a lot of features which is related to reporting, to create one protection plan applied to multi-machines to make your configuration and the implementation faster as well. Coming to devices, you will be able to see all the devices. Simply from add, you will be able to add Windows machine or Mac device as a workstation, Windows server or Linux server, iOS or Android, mobile or tablet. This is all the virtualization that we are supporting. This is all the applications that we are supporting. So simply from here, you will start your journey with the console to add the first device. Once you add the device, you will see something like this. It is not supported, not protected, sorry, never backed up, no schedule. You can just click on machine to say protect. So when you click protect, you will be able to create your first protection plan. And either, as you can see, if you have existing protection plans, you can just apply any of it. So as I mentioned, if you have advanced, you can have one protection plan, just click apply. So you defined everything, you configured everything, you just click on apply. Or you can create a new plan. So as you can see with this Cyber Backup Cloud tenant, we have only the features of backup. So because does not have agent installed, I can only do backup. If I have machine where agent is installed, you will be able to see active protection is happening. So, and this is to give you information that active protection from ransomware is going to happen in case you have agent installed. So this is the very recommended or very required as well. We cannot make all of this protection unless the agent is there in your machine. And you can understand now why all of that. So because of this tenant is Cyber Backup Cloud, and in the back end, I'm enabling you to have a look to Cyber Protect. So you can see that you can do backup along with vulnerability assessment to take your machine configuration. So what about this? It means that your tenant is Cyber Backup tenant, and you need to ask KUWAITNET, please guys, allow my tenant to be Cyber Protect tenant. So once you have this, you will be able to see the other anti-malware, antivirus, URL filtering, Windows Defender, antivirus, and vulnerability assessment, patch management. However, till now, you can take backup, you can make vulnerability assessment and discover any configuration. So as you can see, when I create another plan over here, you will start see active protection. So first time we didn't see because there is no agent. Second time we didn't see active protection because it is mainly for Windows. Third time on Windows, we can see now active protection where I can just configure what is the action, generate alert, stop the process, revert from cache. So based on that one, the protection will happen. We are also protecting from crypto mining. So if any crypto mining process running, we will protect. We are doing self-protection from ransomware attack to our backups. If you have a process which is by mistake detected by our AI and the machine learning, you can simply put over here the process or the folder to protect or even to block. Then once you complete this, we added recently the feature of multi Windows, and this is available in advanced only. So from here, if you are a big company, you have hundreds of employees, maybe you will miss some machines, right? If you have 10, 20 machines, you will just make it one by one, no problem. But what about if you have hundreds of machines? That's why we created for you auto discovery. So the auto discovery can simply import from file. This is basic one. Or it can scan the network. So if you have one agent, add this agent manually to the console. After that, you will just initiate scanning. So it will scan the local network and give you list of the IPs discovered. But what about if you have employees working outside the office? Your company have a lot of sales, they are outside the office. How you will be able to discover this? Then Active Directory will work at this time. So this agent, I install it one time. It is integrated or it is joined the domain. I will be able to use this agent to discover the domain, gather or list all the machines, and start capturing this. So by this, you will not miss any single machine while you are taking backup for your environment. You can see also the HTML and batch are highlighted in different color, which means that you cannot have it because it is cyber protect as well. Then once you add VMware, you will see under here, you can capture all the VMware and the VMs. You will be able to see all the details of it. You can just click on the machine to backup or even protect the group backup by protecting all the VMs on top of this cluster. So it can be individually or for all. You have also Hyper-V, so you can see all the clusters of Hyper-V and you can select the machine, either protect the group or individual. We have the Exchange. We have application aware also. Based on that, we can see the database of the Exchange. We can see the mailboxes if we have it here. We can also see the Microsoft SQL, individual databases and instances. So you can just click on any of these and you can select protect the group, backup or restore it, and you can protect and recover from here. So you can recover entire database or you can recover instance or you can recover, sorry, database file itself. I think I noticed on the chat, someone is asking about Office 365. So from here, you can just add the organization as a global admin. I will just click refresh over here. It will grab all the users from the cloud of Microsoft to our tenant, so you will be able to discover any new user or something. It will be done once per day, but you can just initiate it if you like. So based on that one, you can capture all the new updates. Then you can back up your SharePoint. As you can see here, I can just back up or even recovery the SharePoint site. So I will see all the restore points I can recover. I can recover the email and OneDrive. We are able to back up mail and OneDrive. So you can see from here, when I say recovery, I will just say recover mailbox or individual email. If we have also backup to OneDrive, you will be able to categorize. I need only OneDrive restore points. I need only Office 365 restore points. And from here, you can see restore entire OneDrive or files or individual folders. Last week, we were not supporting Teams. Last week, we added. So now you can back up the Teams. If you have documents on that team, if you have created projects, you can back it up right now. So, and this is the value also to just highlight it again, that we are doing updates every month. So you can see how our team is really focused on the cloud, make the solution well developed, well updated day by day. And every month we have an update happening to add more and more features. We have G Suites. If you have an enterprise organization on the Google Suite, we can back up your Google Drive, we can back up your mail and users. So as you can see, once you add an application aware backup from here, you will be able to find sample for it over here. So this is how this looks like. Here you can see the backup points or the backup targets where we have the cloud storage and the others. And I don't need to take much time here. We have another interesting product. Let me log out from here. I'm now purchasing a tenant, which is Cyber Cloud, and you see Cyber Backup Cloud. And now you will see another tenant where I am purchasing on this tenant Cyber Protect Cloud. So I'm enabling here cyber two-factor authentication. So I will just put the key, the code. The same exactly for the management portal. Everything is the same because here is talking about usage, but you can see now that I am Cyber Protect Disaster Recovery Edition tenant. So now I will be able to show you all the new fancy features of cyber protection along with cybersecurity solutions added. So you can see from first we have more widgets added. So you can see now it is more than before. Here is the disk health. Here is the data protection map, which is showing you missing files, disk status as mentioned. And we have also related service widget, which is vulnerability existing, patches need to be done, disk health. Okay, so this is related to the service. Coming to the threat feed, the one I told you about, that we have here the attack is mentioned and telling you if this is vulnerability. When you click on this, what is the recommended action? Allow vulnerability assessment and patch management. Another one, which is new ransomware coming, named Try to Cry, the one I told you about, but this is does not need patch management, does not need vulnerability assessment. It need anti-malware to be enabled. That's why the recommended action will be anti-malware. If you clicked on more details, it will be like just summary over here. But when we are redirecting you to another place, which is going to help you understand more. And this will be lovely product or lovely feature for the cybersecurity engineers, because over here he can see what are the targeted files by this attack. What is the code of the attack? So we can give you a website which is really helpful to show you how this is really impacting. What is the worm component which will propagate the solution inside the network? And what are the view of the files after being infected, and the hash codes, if you like to be aware about the hash code for this, the hash code for the file, so you can be protected from it. Then you can see also that we have some added tabs over here, let's go now to the protection plan. When I create protection plan, you will be able to see all the features are allowed today. It is not like the one dimmed before. So from here, you can see the backup. Here is the CDP, where you can just see how many apps are protected, how many folders. You can just add it and make sure any changes on this app, on these folders will be updated, will be backed up. Here is also our backup option. So you can just application aware backup. I mean, you can just, if you have SQL in the machine, just allow SQL application aware. Here is the antivirus and the anti-malware. We have our own antivirus engine developed by Acronis, along with integration with Bitdefender in the backend, and we have integration with Windows Defender. That's why you can see this is dimmed or disabled. So if you're interested to have the Acronis antivirus, enable it. If you're interested to have Windows Defender antivirus, enable it. If you are a customer who has his own patch management solution, disable the service. It's very simple. So instead of integrating or adding another service, which is in making noise to existing service, you can simply disable that. Then you can see also we have data protection map and the other services we talk about. Let me talk you, because we have pictures, we showed this in the slide deck. I will share it with you, by the way, and the KUWAITNET team will share it along with the recording. So over here, here is the list of batches. Have a look to this batch. In this batch, KB number, security update, it contains 68 vulnerabilities. So when you click on this, you will be redirected to see the 68 vulnerabilities that will be fixed by this patch. You can come on this, you can read more about it to make sure this CVE is really have an impact in my environment. This is impacting the Windows kernel objects and the memory. This is very critical, or I don't care about it. So you can just have a look, very close look about every single update in the batch. Once you fine with that, you will just come to the batch, select it and accept it to be deployed by its schedule as per the protection plan, or manually install. If you configured in the protection plan to backup before the batch, backup will be started, then batching will happen. Not only Microsoft batches, not only Linux batches, as I mentioned, we have also third-party batches. So you can see from here, recently Mozilla released 78, which is very secure update as well. And you can see over here the critical update and what is currently you have, what is new one, and what are the vulnerabilities fixed in this edition. So you can simply approve it and or install it manually. You can simply select all, and as I mentioned, approve it or install it manually. And you can see here we have many third-party products, which is OneSCC, OneSCB, Teams, Mozilla, and Notepad, something like this. So, and you can discover all vulnerabilities listed over here. For malware, for any malware, it will be quarantined here in this location. So you can come to the file, you will see the hash code of it, you can delete it or you can restore it. The good value also I mentioned about that whitelisting, you can, for example, I detected that Zoom maybe somehow detected that this is attack or this is Trojan. So you need to make sure it is whitelisted. So I put it here, just add file and put it here. And here is the integration with VirusTotal. So from here, you can see I'm redirected to VirusTotal, start scanning this file by its hash code, and you can see that Acronis is one of the engines. All of the well-known engines are listed over here. So Bitdefender, you have also Fortinet, you have also Kaspersky, you have also McAfee, Microsoft, Palo Alto. So you can see all the engines mentioned that this file is clean, no detected between more than 70, by the way. This is now 70 reported, but sometimes reach to 80. But only one program detected that Zoom has a Trojan, because we found that if you have this in your machine, your password can be discovered or can be captured. So based on that one, you can start thinking about it and make sure if you really need to whitelist it or not. And here is the backup scanning. backup scanning configuration you just created, and how this will be watched. Once you configure the backup scan, you come to the cloud, you will be able to see on this machine, while I'm restoring the backups, I can see this bug, which is saying that we have infection over here in this file. While I'm creating recovery, you can select safe recovery to make sure it will be recovered without malware. If this is, I discovered this, I went to my machine, deleted the file, so I can now find the backup is clean. If I have batches happened or backup happened because of the batch, you see here, backup time is 129, which is backup schedule. So this is different time, which is the batching schedule. So because of that, I can see here, this created before a batch, and you can see here that this is triggered by patch management. Coming to the remote desktop, you will be able to see over here, the remote desktop. I will show you access. If you are an admin, you can access the servers. If you have employees, and this is an employee machine for employee, you can share link to him. He cannot log in over here, but you can just give him a link. Here is Mr. End User. This is the link. Access from client or HTML. I will show you the new one, which is HTML. I'm logging in with my access as a domain user. Okay, so you can see that exactly like I am in the office, accessing the machine via HTML. Simply from here, I will click on that, access this PC. I can see my shared folder locally in the office. I can see my drives. If I have my Outlook, I can see my emails. So everything I can do it from here. Simply, if you will need to remote wipe, as I mentioned, you can see details. Here is the remote wipe data. And as also, let me come now to show you the attack. We have also CyberFit added as well. So CyberFit score is very fancy feature. It will track 6 features, very important for your machine, to tell you is if you are really fit. So now the fitness is everywhere, even in the cybersecurity. So you can see that CyberFit is hashtag, we consider it on the Twitter and all the social media, and we are adding to our console to tell you if you are really fit or not on your machine. So you can see we are tracking if you have malware, anti-malware, if you take backup of your machine, if you have a firewall enabled on the machine, if you have VPN to secure your traffic outside the company or outside the laptop, if your disk has encryption enabled, if you are enabling NT network manager or LAN manager. So for everyone, you will see your grade based on the service, if you allowed or you not allowing, and we are giving you recommendation what you should do to be cyberfit. So let me come now to the other one, which is activities. Oh, sorry. So when I click, sorry, when I click over here, I can batch individual machines. So I can see for this machine only, I need these batches. I can batch it individually instead of batching all. And I can see in activities, all the activities which is happening. And when I see alerts, I have alert over here. Let me clean that. So I don't have anything right now. So this is the machine which is we are using. I will show you how URL filtering works. So you can see I have sample malware site. It is blocked. I have another sample phishing site. It is blocked. Because why this is happening? Because over here you can see when I say protect, I am applying URL filtering. So in URL filtering, you can control what to apply and what to deny. So simply from here, let me make a new plan to show you that. So from here, URL filtering is showing you, I will allow it first, then you can see all the categories that you can allow or deny. So based on that, you can control. Then you can also customize if you like to block certain websites, put the website here, the user cannot access it from here. So as I showed you, there is no alerts. I will run now infection to my machine. These are Windows files, or sorry, document files. It is modified in 2016. This is an attack which is going to target all of these files to encrypt it. Once I will execute this encryption, it will immediately run that attack. You see what happened? Immediately the files got restored from the cache with a new modification date, with the ability to access the document file in a simple way. And when I come back to the console, I will just see one alert coming here in the dashboard saying that you tried to access this malware site and it was blocked from this machine, and we have suspicious activity happened with this process. Have a no certification, start encrypting your machines, and because the configuration is revert from cache, I was able to revert your entire machine. So based on that, we have it all. I think I covered everything right now, and I will just look to the questions, reply on the chat until giving Mr. Harayar a few minutes to present his site. Thank you guys for your time. Appreciate it, and I hope if this presentation was very useful for you and have a lot of information about new services from Acronis. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Muhammad. It was a very informative session. Before jumping to the questions and answers, because we are running out of time, I promise I will be very quick. Here you go. I hope you all can see my screen. Great. Hello, everyone. My name is Harayar Baboyan. I'm the product manager for Acronis Solutions at KUWAITNET. Here, I would like to summarize, as Mr. Bashar have mentioned in the beginning of our webinar, that we are authorized and gold partner in Kuwait, and our experts are ready to support you for any kind of technical assessment, installing the backup agents for the various platforms you may need, and even we can schedule the backup, reporting, and hands-on the training on the product. Here, I would like, this is, I think, the most exciting part of our webinar. Here, I would like to make exclusive promotion, our KUWAITNET exclusive promotion, that the promotion is as follows. When you, upon purchasing 5 TB, you get 2 terabyte storage additional for free. By saying you pay only 5 TB and you get 7 TB. Furthermore, on this promotion, if you like to take benefit of this exclusive promotion for our audiences today only, you can just simply get in touch with us to all the numbers shown as Mr. Varghese George and myself, Mr. Harayar. And even you can reach us at our email address, sales@kuwaitnet.com. We are ready to support you for any kind of doubts in the technical clarifications, questions, product knowledge, and even for the promotion, we are ready to support you. From my side, once again, thank you very much for attending allocating your precious time. I will hand it to Ms. Noor for the questions and answers.
So
Thank you so
start
much.
answering. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, Noor, sorry.
Let's take 2 minutes to answer 1 or 2 quick questions, Khalid, as we are already a minute over time. I think you've picked the question, we can answer that.
Yeah, I already answered one question regarding the P2V and the deduplication. We have deduplication, and if you will see from the activities, you can see that you have, for example, 1 gigabyte, and you are able to restore or to backup only like 200 megs. So we have dedupe based on the contents you have happening by the agent. Someone is asking about Office 365. I showed this during the demo when I noticed the question. Everything else related, is it possible to share video? Yeah, video will be shared, recording will be shared, slide deck will be shared. Okay.
Great.
Another, yeah.
Great, so I think
You
we've
like to add
addressed all the
something?
questions.
Yeah, I have one asking about the replication. So replication is also supported, and we have replication working with, I think you can see my screen right now.
Yeah.
Replication is available here when you have VM replication. So just add virtual machine from VMware and you can see replication tab will be enabled. And as I am here on the console, let me get the chance to show how dedupe is happening. So for example, when you come to this machine, come to activities, you will be able to see where any backup happened. So I need to show you once backup is done, you can see that with this backup, for example, see, we have here 99 gig of data. However, we saved only 4 gig. So based on that one, we are not just sending the updates. New updates will be considered and looking to what we did send to the cloud, we will not send it one more time. So this will save your capacity on the cloud. This will save your time during backup. This will optimize the WAN traffic. So not just congest your internet link while sending your backups. And I cannot see any more questions. I answered one on the chat and everything else I think I covered. Anybody else need to ask something, guys?
Well, I think we need to wrap up, Khalid.
Yeah.
If anybody has any questions or inquiries, kindly email us at sales@kuwaitnet.com or feel free to call us. Also, you can visit our website to know further more about Acronis. Thank you so much for your attendance, everybody. All those registered will be receiving a copy of the presentation, the sales deck as informed, as well as information about the special promotion that we have. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, team. Thank you so much. See you another day.
Thank you, Noor. Thank you for
Bye-bye.
your organization today. Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Farid. Thank you.